Yes. All these fittings
Optima.
bead,
Yeah.
those guys who are interested in Roman reconstruction reenactment will find this video a treasure trove, right? Look how many
Oh,
things are
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And I'm sure there are good publications on this. And
Yes.
if you're trying to make one and you speak English or Farsi or Italian or whatever, and you get a publication in German, if the illustrations are good enough, with a bit of Google Translate or something like that, you can get the captions. It's
Yes.
it's you will be able to use the information.
Yes. I saw the
And I mean,
museum has books written in German, but very good
mhm,
quality books beat on these
yeah,
items. Yes. Yes. But again, you're
there.
right. You can tell, right? Mhm.
Now this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Look.
Oh yeah, look at them. Such fine quality.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Look.
I mean, this is
Unbelievable.
and these must have been made in tens of thousands.
Yes.
I mean, it's not. It wasn't a small army. The
No.
Roman army was a big army,
They
and
were
they
everywhere.
had they had fabrici factories set up to manufacture this. They also bought a lot of stuff from on the market, and they had contractors as well. So there was a lot of people producing this stuff, but the sheer number of, if you've got a legion and you've got, say, 4 to 5 thousand actual fighters, that means 4 to 5 thousand swords, 4 to 5 thousand javelins, 4 to 5 thousand shields, 4 to 5 thousand helmets, maybe 4 to 5 thousand um, mail shirts. That's a lot of equipment, and there were a lot of legions, plus the auxiliaries,
Pete, look.
trumpets. Imagine
One
those
is
surviving.
one is excavated, one is the reconstruction of it.
And I see they've got separate mouthpieces as well
Yes.
for to get the pitch right. It's really incredible. I mean, they do pretty good reconstructions too. I mean, it
Yeah,
really looks quite nice.
they do, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You can imagine these guys with their trumpets. They've got the two things so you can put it over your shoulder and carry it easily. That's amazing stuff.
Amazing. Look,
Oh,
Pete.
so these are fittings for. Oh, I see. I see. They've got the straight
Yes,
trumpet,
yes,
the circular trumpet. Well, it's spiral trumpet,
yes,
and this is a fitting for holding
yes.
a sistrum or something like a jangly thing.
Yes, I
Is
think
that
so.
what the caption says?
Maybe here, look, Pete.
Yeah. So, also the first one we saw was probably a litus.
Yes. Ah, that's
The
right.
straight one is just called tuba, which is quite cornu horn, and probably because it's curved like a ram's horn, rather than
Yes.
because we say horn to mean a musical instrument, but it's probably because the shape of the musical instrument looks like a horn from a goat or a cow or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe originally they made them out of goat's horns, like the Jewish um, goat's horn musical instrument that's used in religious ceremonies.
Yeah.
I see. So Burkina
Yeah.
is the kind of
Yeah.
gently curved one.
Yes. So the
Yeah, my
ältere
German's.
form, the older type,
Yeah,
and the other one is the more recent type.
yeah. That's really impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Funny, It's really nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at them.
Whoa.
Interesting, huh?
So this is all part of a parade. You've got your
Yes.
musicians, you've got your guys holding things.
Yes.
It's
Um,
amazing what survived though. I mean, this is pretty esoteric stuff. Um, you really wouldn't expect it to survive, yet here it is.
I mean, this museum, when we went, they said, "Oh my God, it's like going into ancient Rome." So
Yeah.
many things they have.
And this is the kind of thing that, like big museums with big statues and everything like that. They're all fascinating. But this is what everyday people were using.
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating as well.
This is for you,
Arrowhead.
Bede.
Yeah. I have some Roman arrowheads. I saw a preview of this come up on the internet, and I thought, should I get my Roman arrowheads out? And then I thought, maybe these would be
Oh,
better.
the short, right?
Yeah.
An
The
arrowhead.
tanged ones at the top I have. There's some argument they look like armor-piercing arrows, but there is some argument that they may have been specifically target arrows to use on ox skulls, because they found a lot of ox skulls associated with Roman forts with little square holes punched into them that are post-mortem, because the bone had hardened. It had been not in the animal when it was shot, because bone behaves differently when it's alive than when
Yes.
it's dried out. And they think that one of the target practices they did was shoot these essentially bodkins at ox skulls. So when the animal died, and if the meat was usable, they would cut up the meat. But the bones would be used for making various kinds of tools, handles, sword handles, things like that. But the skulls apparently were used for target practice.
Mm.
And I mean, an ox skull is pretty thick. To shoot an arrowhead through it, or to make a deep hole in it, it's pretty
Yes.
impressive. It wouldn't be just testing your accuracy, it'd be testing the strength of the bow you could shoot.
Yes.
The ones in the little starburst are more hunting or shooting at lightly armed people type arrows. And then you've got a whole row of spurs down the right-hand side.
Yes.
The Romans used spurs, the Celts used spurs, the Greeks used spurs. This was invented long before people had stirrups or even proper saddles. I mean, when people were just riding either bareback or on a rug, certainly in the Celtic countries, they used spurs. The Romans possibly adopted them from the Celts, but not like when Julius Caesar invaded Gaul, but maybe 300 years before when the Celts invaded Italy. Because if you don't have stirrups, you need some way of convincing your horse that you want it to go forward, because I know, I mean, from riding bareback and from people that were good at it as opposed to me, that you can be very secure riding bareback, but you're not as secure as somebody in a saddle, and not as secure as somebody with a saddle and stirrups. And the Romans started using a saddle type that is related to Celtic saddles. Weirdly enough, Sasanian rock reliefs show the same kind of saddle, or a
Yes.
related saddle.
Yes.
So they have like little flares over your thighs and little cantle-shaped pieces behind you to stop you falling out. But they had no stirrups, so you had to be quite skillful to ride in them. Though I've heard from people writing about it that they found them quite practical. So here we've got a reconstructed helmet and various pieces of the reinforcement of the helmet in bronze.
Exactly. They want to show what Bede is referring to. This reconstructed helmet is there to serve, so you understand what these pieces mean. That's what Bede means here on top. Exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating to see that, because they've got the top piece is the underpiece going front to back, but it's only half of it, and the bottom piece is the piece that goes from side to side with a slot for the other one to fit through.
What I found excellent about this museum is these reconstructed materials next to the original, so people understand what they are. I've never seen it anywhere like this. Really nice.
This is a really good idea, because, I mean, no matter how good your imagination is, sometimes it's a bit hard to work out what's going on with some of this stuff, particularly if you're not. I mean, again, if you're a Roman reenactor, you go and you see this and say, oh, that's how to do that. And it would immediately make sense.
Yes.
But if you're a member of the general public and you're just a bit interested in what the Romans did, or what happened in the case of someone living near Frankfurt in their backyard, I mean, imagine saying, it's only just up the road they found this. I mean, that would be so amazing. and
Yes.
then you can see it in the context of how it was meant to be used. And all of a sudden, it stops being a nice, interesting piece of metal, and it becomes a component in a helmet or a shield or whatever it is a part of. And I just think that's value adding.
Yes.
You're adding to the experience by explaining how the things work.
Yes.
Oh, this has got some nice little, some really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And some stuff that's just interesting. I mean, the little horse-headed or donkey-headed
Yeah.
piece in the front is quite amazing.
Yeah.
Looks like enameled
Yes.
pieces on the right,
Yeah.
various things that hung off belts or
Yes.
maybe horse harness.
Yes.
Mostly look belt size, but
Yes.
some of them could be fallorai or something like that for horse
You know
harness.
what's fascinating, Bede, as at the same time as well? When you go to these museums, so you can spend days there. If you really want to
Oh
spend,
yeah.
look at each item, really. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's this is the problem I always have with museums is I keep going back and looking at things. I look at something, I take a photograph if they allow photographs. I go home, I think about it. I really need to see it from a bit like that to find out what's going on. I mean,
And you know, one
particularly with
appeal to everyone, please guys go to this museum. It really breaks my
oh
heart
yeah,
when we go on a Saturday there and there is hardly anyone there. It is
I
really
know.
heartbreaking, Pete.
I,
Really.
I, I a lot of the time museums do not have the money to advertise themselves,
Ah, okay.
and therefore people don't get to really benefit from it. I mean, we could say to governments, give more money to museums, but that's possibly not going to happen. The best thing is for people to know the museums are there and go and have a look and learn, and then more people going because word of mouth, I've seen this, it's really interesting. And there are a lot of people interested in Roman era
Yeah.
um, objects. There are a lot of people interested in archaeology, you know, not deeply interested, but interested enough that they enjoy something like this. When you get somewhere that goes to the trouble of making the reproductions to show you how things work, and that's the kind of place you want to
You know,
patronize
and
because
that's
they've put the
one
effort in.
appeal because some museums in Germany, it's not only in Germany, in Europe, don't want you to take pictures, don't want you to show anywhere on the internet. I'm sorry, I to our colleagues, guys, this is wrong. If people
Yeah.
see this, they come to your museums. It doesn't mean they don't come. Actually, they will come.
Well,
That's called marketing, right?
yeah. Well, one of the things is there was a exhibition in Sydney from Austria of like late medieval Renaissance steel armors, and they didn't permit photography because of the potential danger. Now, if it was fabric,
Yeah.
flash photography may damage the pigments. So they've got a good reason for not doing that. But if it's steel, then no matter how many flashes go off, it's not going to affect it. And what I get, my understanding from this is that in a museum that's got thousands of different items, and they know this is bad for one group, that will be the level for everything. And that's just not practical if you want to get people to go and look. Somewhere like the Metropolitan Museum of Art has high quality photographs free,
Yes, free.
and you can look at. I was just looking at a museum in Sydney's website, high quality photographs for free
Yes.
that you could download and study. You can go in there and see the items, but if you want to see different views and better lighting, you can download photographs. Now, this is so valuable for people that are interested in the objects
Yes.
and or interested in studying them. Because the museum benefits because somebody writes an article and says, and in such and such museum is this item, and you can find it by going to such and such a website. Everybody benefits from that
Yeah.
because museums need people coming through the doors. They need people visiting their websites. All of these things prove to the funders of the museum that they're doing things right.
Yes.
I know in reality, when you look at them, you say, oh, but they've got all this collection and it's beautifully arranged and organized. But if nobody knows about how good they're doing, they're not going to get continuous funding unless it's a bequest or something.
Yes.
And so therefore, horse bits. Oh, hippo
Yeah.
sandals. Uh, the Roman solution to a horse that's got a bad hoof. You put that on their feet, and it's not a substitute for horseshoes. It is a veterinarian's solution to a horse with bad feet.
This ones?
Um,
These ones?
the top row, yeah.
This.
These were basically strapped onto the horse's foot like sandals,
Oh,
like horseshoes. They knew about horseshoes because the Celts used them and the Romans copied them. So a horseshoe is nailed onto the hoof
yes.
because the hoof is like your fingernail. It's got
Yes.
no nerves in it. You can't feel anything.
Yes.
So if you're really bad at putting the horseshoes on, you can still hurt the horse. So therefore horses with sore hoofs. Interesting enough, the shape of the hole in the bottom of the two in the middle is the same shape as you find in Moroccan horseshoes and horseshoes from the Middle East in general, including Iran, because that is the relief. See, Western horseshoes are just an outline,
Yeah.
but Middle Eastern and North African horseshoes cover the whole of the underside of the hoof, and they have a hole in there for the frog of the hoof, the
Bede, could
soft
you
spongy
explain
part.
more what it means that it was a veterinarian solution for a horse with bad
Okay,
feet?
one of the things that can happen to horses if you don't use horseshoes, which
Mhm.
they did sometimes, but not all the time, is that on if they spend a lot of time on moist ground, they can get diseases in the hoof, which weakens the hoof. And therefore, what they do is they shave off the injured the part that's got a fungus in it or something like that. And in order to protect the foot while the hoof grows back, then they fit these over the foot of the horse and tied them on so they don't come off.
So they removed it when then it grew back, correct? Did I understand
Yeah.
it correct?
So it's not a permanent solution. It's a temporary solution, like you wearing a cast if you
No.
broke a bone or something.
Okay.
Except a horse walks on it. It walks on one toe and it walks on the fingernail of that toe or the toenail, which is the hoof.
Mm.
And if that hoof gets damaged, they start to walk on the soft part of that toe, and that causes even more injury. And they'll go lame, and maybe they have to be put down. So what you want to do is protect that while the hoof is growing back, or until you can get the horse to somewhere where you can let it, eat grass and get healthy again before you use it. You don't ride horses where they've got any injuries to their feet because they just get worse quicker. So you do everything you can to let the horse naturally heal. I mean, they did have medicines for horses as well. There was actual veterinarian science in the Roman Empire, as most of the ancient world and the Middle East.
Can you
But
tell us
this was
about the
just
function of the horse bit as well here?
okay. Well, these are all snaffle bits. A snaffle bit fits in the horse's mouth. It usually has rings.
Mm.
I'm just thinking, have I got one here? I think I have one.
Okay.
Uh, I do have one here, but can I get to it? That's
Mhm.
uh, okay. Here's
Mhm.
here's a bridle.
Ah, okay.
So you can see the metal part goes in the horse's mouth,
Mhm.
and there's a harness to fit over the horse's head. This is Mongolian style or Turkmen style. Now, these bits, it's very normal
Mhm.
for there to be a joint in the middle of the bit
Mhm.
so that it sits. Well, it depends on which writing culture you come from.
Mhm.
In some writing cultures, they want the sides of the bit to push into the. See, a horse's mouth, there's teeth, then there's a gap, then there's the front teeth, and the bit goes into the gap.
Mhm.
And the jawbone there has a thin layer of skin over it. So if something presses hard against that, the horse knows about it straight away. You notice some of these have like a spiral shape.
Yes. Yes.
And this was common to ancient Greek and Roman horsemanship as a way of putting pressure on they call that part the bar in the horse's jaw. Now, if your horse is not responding, this gets the information to them straight away. In a lot of cultures, they weren't as, particularly in the East, they were thinking more of the horse's tongue, and they weren't trying to hurt it, but your tongue is very sensitive. So a little bit of a pull on the reins, pressing on the tongue, the horse immediately knew that you wanted it to pay attention. But in high levels of training where you want the horse to spin on the spot and all that kind of stuff, they tended to use bits that were a little bit more extreme. So the thinner the mouthpiece is, the more pressure it puts on the horse's mouth or on the jaw in the bars. The one on the top, I don't think it was made that thin. I think that's age.
Yeah.
The ones with the spiral, that is a way of putting pressure on the horse's bars to get information to the horse that you want it to do something special. The one that looks like an anchor.
Exactly. I want to ask you.
Yeah, that's a cheek piece. They sat either side. I may have one of those lying around. I've got bits everywhere. I don't know. I can't see it. But what that does is, modern English style, they use it in a different way. But in olden times, those bars, when you pulled on the rein on that side, the bar on that side pushed against the horse's face. When you pulled on the rein on this side, it pushed against that. So it stopped the bit sliding through the horse's mouth, which normally wasn't a problem, but it added that pressure. So if you were steering your horse, there's two different ways to steer a horse with reins on a snaffle bit. One is direct reining, where you pull on the right side to pull the horse's head to the right so it goes to the right. And there's another style called neck reining, where you've trained the horse that when it feels the rein on its neck, it turns away from it. So if you want to go left, you move your hand to the left, I think. It could be the other way around. I get left and right confused all the time. And so that one is more highly trained than the one where you pull that way or pull that way. But they're both used by the same people. But these big side pieces really focused on the horse. It didn't. The bit itself didn't do as much pressure as these did. The other thing is that they often have slots in them to take divided straps to go up around the horse's head, and that also gave a larger area of pressure, so that it didn't have a small area pushing in tightly. It was more a larger area. If you look back as far as the Assyrians, they often had 3 straps going into something like that. And then they combined into one strap to go over the horse's head. So these are all, they give technical advantage to the different styles of riding. So just looking at those bits there's several different styles of rein used to control the horse's head shown by the different bits. And you can sometimes have just a straight bar, which is more common in driving bits on wagons and chariots and things like that. Or sometimes you can have 2 joints, so that there's a piece in the middle and there's a joint at either end of that, to more focus where in the horse's mouth the pressure was put when you pulled the reins. So it's quite a technical thing, and I don't think I've explained it very well.
No, you did. I really understood what you meant very well.
Yeah, but when you see that, it tells you something about how their horses were controlled. And this is not the only style of bits the Romans used. They used another kind of bit, which one of the examples is called the Newstead bit, which has rigid bars and cross braces, and the reins are down here somewhere. And that caused, and it's got a pallet spoon inside the mouth that's pressed up on the pallet in the horse's mouth. And you could use that for very precise control when you wanted your horse to do something like the Lipizzanas in Vienna or something like that. And if you look on Roman sculptures, you can sometimes tell the difference. See, there they're showing that other type of bit, though I'm not quite sure they've got it right. That does look a bit odd. But it's similar to we in modern parlance call the ones with the long bars that come away from the mouth and are used as leverage are called curb bits, because they usually have a curb strap. And the ones that have the rings we call snaffles, because in modern Western writing, you often have both in the mouth at the same time. Because of that's when you see two reins on each side. Usually, though, in the 19th century, they maybe a bit before actually, they started attaching the second pair of reins instead of to an individual snaffle to rings where the bar of the bit goes into the mouth. So you had two reins there and two reins down here. As I say, I'm not real sure about that that diagram there, and I'm not even sure that those are from the type of bit they think it's from. It would be really hard to tell without more material. But as I say, two different styles. They still exist. Commonly, say for instance in Iran, in the southwest, you often see what's called a ring bit, which has a ring that the horse's jaws fits through, and the bars and a set of reins. And in the northeast, you commonly have snaffles, because Turkmen and people like that use snaffles. So the two things the Romans did are still being done today. And in fact, the Newstead style bit in the Roman style, one was excavated near Shiraz from the Sasanian period. If you see the Sasanian sculptures, you can see the bars coming out because they have that kind of bit. So this is a kind of, it's not universal in the sense that everybody used it, but it's connected from east to west and west to east. It's believed that the curve style bit originated among the Celts and moved through the Romans and Greeks into Anatolia, and from there into Iran and Syria and all the areas around there. And the other type of bit probably came west with the Scythians. Though that the bar with the straps and that the Assyrians used. So clearly they didn't start writing till after they fought the Scythians. So maybe that's how that all got together. But you can see it's all encapsulated in this one museum with real objects. I mean, from the time that they were being used.
Pete, look, now we have a better look at those arrowheads we've seen before.
They look bronze to me. Am I right?
Maybe, yes.
Or are they iron?
Iron. I think they're iron, Pete.
Okay. So they look mainly three-bladed.
Yes.
When one of the German publications has a good thing showing you how you, as a blacksmith, made three-bladed arrowheads. They're actually not that hard to make. I say as a non-blacksmith. They had swages for them, so you hammer them out with a blade on one side, and then you had another swage to make them equilateral. So you got three blades out of one piece of metal. Tanged arrowheads. You have a long spike at the back that fits inside the arrow. Socketed ones, which I think one of the ones that around about 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Yes.
In that arrangement, you have a hole in it, and the shaft fits into that. I've got a reproduction Scythian arrow with a bronze head like that.
Ah, I see that. Yes,
and you can see how the shaft fits into the back of the arrowhead. These are often quite small cannons fitting in there, so you can be a bit surprised by how little of the shaft fits into that arrowhead. It may be only about say 8 millimeters, if that. This is the kind of Scythian style you see often in Roman sculptures where they're shooting like this instead of pulling all the way back because the arrows are quite short. But that's a bronze version. But they did make iron ones, but they also made them with tangs, which is also an ancient way of making arrowheads. Some of the ones excavated in Judea, as it was at the time, from the time of the Jewish insurrection that led to the big Roman counterattack where they destroyed the temple in Jerusalem and that. They found these in caves with parts of the wooden shaft on them, and it looks like they were designed to hit and splinter. Whether they were used by Romans or used against Romans, it's a bit hard to say. But a lot of Roman arrowheads are very similar, so maybe it was just a design. But yeah, you notice they're very slender.
Very slender, yes.
So they would work whether you were shooting against somebody in mail or not. In mail, they might penetrate an inch or so through the mail if they can't break the rings. If they can break the rings, they'll go further. But they have quite slender-looking blades, which probably cut quite well, though they wouldn't make a really big hole. But in the middle of battle, when you get a few arrows stuck in you, be a bit, upset. See, these are more designed for armor piercing. They're more like bodkins in the medieval period. Yes. They've got like quadrangular, four-sided arrowheads that are designed to punch into metal or through mail.
And they're socketed, right?
And they're socketed, which is in Roman arrowheads, you tend to see socketed arrowheads used for things like catapults, chiroballista type things, and regular arrows are less frequently socketed. And you can see the difference in size between the ones on the top and the ones on the bottom. So it's possible, therefore, little, not crossbows, but actually miniature catapults.
We are going to see them, Bede.
Oh, great.
Yes, you're going to see them.
That makes
Here we have everything in this museum. Yes.
No, but they're really nice. Some of them, so you can see how the sockets made exactly the same way as they were in the medieval period. When they hammered the head out, they had a big flat spoon-shaped bit, which they hammered around a horn shape fitting on the anvil until the two sides met, and then they forge welded them together to make the solid socket. I mean, not always precisely, because a war arrow is meant to be used once.
Yes.
You really don't want your enemy to shoot it back at you. So you make it strong enough to go through the armor, but, not tremendously robust.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really quite interesting.
Yes.